Good to connect with you, JavaScript. I think we should clear the air about our fundamental similarities and differences. As programming languages, we both have our unique strengths. Absolutely, Python. While we're often compared, we serve different purposes in many ways. I started as a browser scripting language, but have evolved considerably. That's a good point. I was designed with readability in mind. My syntax is clean and uses indentation to define code blocks instead of curly braces, which makes my code look almost like pseudocode. And I use curly braces and semicolons, which might look more intimidating to beginners. But let's talk about typing. I'm dynamically typed like you, but I handle it differently. True. In my world, everything is an object, and types are determined at runtime. I'm strict about indentation, which some love and others find restrictive. I'm more flexible with whitespace, but can be tricky with my type coercion. Remember that famous joke about me? 2 plus 2 can equal 22 if they're strings. That's actually an important distinction. I'm more predictable with operations. When I add strings, I concatenate them without trying to convert types unexpectedly. Fair point. My type coercion can lead to some surprising results. But I've improved with strict equality operators and newer features like TypeScript that add optional static typing. Speaking of improvements, my ecosystem is heavily focused on data science, machine learning, and back-end development with libraries like NumPy, Pandas, and Django, while I dominate the front end with frameworks like React, Angular, and Vue. But with Node.js, I've moved into your territory of server-side programming too. That's true. And we both support functional programming concepts, though I would say I maintain a stronger focus on object-oriented programming. I'm more flexible with paradigms. I support object-oriented, functional, and even prototype-based programming. I'm quite versatile that way. Let's talk execution. I'm interpreted, which makes cross-platform development easier, but might impact performance compared to compiled languages. I'm also interpreted, but modern JavaScript engines use just-in-time compilation techniques to optimize performance. Vaten Chrome and Node.js is impressively fast. Good point. And while we're on performance, I have the Global Interpreter Lock, or GL, which can limit true multi-threading capabilities. I'm single-threaded by design, but I thrive on asynchronous programming with callbacks, promises, and now async, await syntax for handling concurrent operations. I've added async await capabilities too, though they're still catching up in some ways. But my synchronous code is very straightforward and readable. Speaking of readability, I think we both value it, but express it differently. Your enforced indentation versus my more flexible style. Exactly. And let's talk about variables. I don't require declarations. Variables come into existence when you assign a value. I used to be the same with var, but modern JavaScript has evolved with let and const, giving developers better control over variable scope and mutability. That's a good improvement. I handle scope differently, with clear function and class boundaries, though I don't have block scope like you do. Yes. And I have closures that allow functions to maintain access to their creation scope, which enables some powerful patterns. I have closures too, though they might be less commonly used in typical Python code. Our function definitions are quite different as well. True. My functions are first-class citizens and can be passed around as variables. Arrow functions have made this even more concise. I treat functions as first-class objects too. But my lambda functions are more limited than your arrow functions. They can only contain expressions, not statements. That's interesting. For error handling, I use try, catch blocks, similar to yours. But our approach to exceptions might differ. I'm big on explicit exception handling and have a philosophy that errors should never pass silently unless explicitly silenced. I sometimes get criticized for silently failing in certain cases, though modern JavaScript practices emphasize better error handling. Let's discuss standard libraries. I come with batteries included, a comprehensive standard library that covers many common tasks. I was initially quite minimal, but Node.js expanded my standard capabilities. Most JavaScript developers rely heavily on NPM packages for additional functionality. The package management is another difference. I have pip, while you have NPM or yarn. Both ecosystems are enormous, though. Absolutely massive. NPM has become the largest package registry in the world, though that comes with its own challenges sometimes. What about learning curve? I'm often recommended for beginners because of my readable syntax and straightforward approach. I might have a steeper initial learning curve, especially with my quirks and asynchronous programming model, but I'm essential for web development. That's true. In terms of community, I think we both have large active communities, which is a huge strength for any language. Definitely. The community support means better libraries, more resources, and faster problem solving. Let's talk about where we shine. I'm dominant in data analysis, scientific computing, AI, automation, and back-end web development. And I own the front-end web development space. Plus, I've expanded into mobile apps with React Native, desktop apps with Electron, and even IoT with frameworks like Johnny 5. We both can build full-stack applications, though developers often use us together, me on the back end, and you on the front end. That's the perfect partnership. Your strong data processing capabilities, combined with my user interface prowess. I think that covers most of our fundamental similarities and differences. We're both high-level, dynamically typed languages with different strengths and design philosophies. Absolutely. And while we compete in some areas, we complement each other beautifully in others. The best developers often know both of us. I couldn't agree more. Understanding multiple languages gives programmers a broader perspective and more tools to solve problems effectively. Well said. At the end of the day, we're both just tools designed to help humans build amazing things with computers. And that's what really matters, empowering developers to create solutions, regardless of which language they choose to use. Exactly. Here's to making programming more accessible and powerful, one line of code at a time.